Okay, so the front foot elevated lunge, you want to find a box or a step that is mid-shin or below mid-shin height. This will allow you to gain more range of motion through the hips, right? So what we're going to do here is have that foot elevated. You'll see my back foot, I'm up onto my toe or my back foot, holding 2 dumbbells that are adequate weight that we can do the repetitions required. We're going to take the front knee forward. The aim here is to get that hip, that butt right down onto the front ankle. The back leg is going to straighten out as much as you can. So what's happening here is we're stretching out the hip flexor at the back leg, and we're strengthening up the quad and the hips on the front leg. So you see I come back up, shoulders back, chest up, tight abs, lean forward a little bit to avoid hyperextension in the lower back. Feel a big stretch at the bottom there, come back up again. The tempo of this one is 1, 2, 3, down, pause, 1, 2, 1 up. Okay, so what you're going to do on this one is you're aiming to do 8 to 12 repetitions, and you're choosing the appropriate weight that when you get to 8 repetitions, you should feel that you're actually struggling, and it's quite a struggle to get to 12 repetitions. When you can achieve 12 repetitions with that weight, 3 sets of the 12 repetitions, then you know it's time to up the weight. All right, cool. The single leg deadlift is performed with a single dumbbell. You want to have a beam or something stable or a wall or something next to you that you can use to help you with your stability. The idea is to do this exercise eventually without the assistance of the stability of the wall, but in the interim you can use the stabilizer of the wall just to help you get the range of motion and actually get a little bit of horsepower through your legs. So I'm going to give you a side view here because it's imperative that you don't flex your lower back over. So look at my lower back, I'm sticking my bum out, I'm lifting my chest up, I'm hinging over at this hip. So I'm letting the leg that I'm standing on bend slightly, and I'm hinging my back heel up as high as I can, maintaining that line in my lower back, and I'm coming back up. So my tempo on this one is 1, 2, 3, down, pause, push the back heel up, 1, 2, 3, and back up again. So again, you want to do 8 to 12 repetitions and use the same parameters of increasing your strength. When you can achieve 12 repetitions without the assistance of the balancing, then you know it's time to go up with the weight. So you don't have to be a hero with this one. You're looking at not much more than 10 kilograms just to get started off. All right, cool. All right, the step up is an extremely good exercise to create awesome acceleration through the legs. So with the step up, when one does it, what you want to do is make sure that when you hinge back, you only land on the heel. You don't want to push up with your toe, your plantar flexor, because then what happens is the back foot's doing all the work. The idea here is to get the leg that's elevated to do all the work. You'll see here I'm maintaining my natural curve through my lower back again. I'm lifting my toes up, I'm driving through my heel. You can hinge over slightly more just to allow you more range of motion, and you see I'm driving up, bang, that's 1. Coming back, landing on the heel, driving up, good. Another thing you've got to pay really close attention to is the tracking of the knee. If the knee falls in, then what you're doing is you're going to put damage into the anterior cruciate ligament, to the inside of your knee. So we want to avoid that. So what I generally do is make sure that the foot is nice and straight, and you're going to rotate the knee out. So posture up, chest up, nice tall chest, lifting the back toes up, driving up. And so you see when I come back, I make sure this knee is pulling out, yeah? And that's your movement there. So with this exercise here, you don't need to add any weight. The way you progress the exercise is to go higher and higher in the box. So when you can achieve 12 repetitions with really good form, then you know it's time to bring the box a little bit higher. So the increments of height here, I wouldn't go much higher than a fist height every increment. So that's what you're going to achieve with that one. Cool. Okay, so the single leg hip thrust is also a very good exercise for creating acceleration through the body. So what we're going to do here is I'm placing my heel into the ground. I want my heel underneath my knee, and the other leg, the knee is pulling into the chest, right? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that I'm posteriorly tucking my pelvis up and under, meaning I'm scooping my pelvis up and under, right? So I don't want to use my lower back with this exercise. A common thing you see is everyone driving up through the lower back. We don't want to go there. Drive the hip up. So this knee is driving back and up into the wall or the ceiling. Hold it, 1, 2, 3, and back down. Make sure you got that pelvic scoop up. Drive it up, 1, 2, 3, and back down. Okay, so with this exercise here, you can progress this one by placing a weight onto the hips, but first get 12 reps nailed absolutely solid before you start placing weights. One of the biggest mistakes people make with this exercise is when they do it, they hyperextend the lower back. So very, very important that your pelvis tucks up and under, and you make sure you keep that tucked up and under before you compensate and use the lower back, because you can damage your lower back and create what we call a spondylolisthesis through the lower back, which is you don't want to go there. All right, so again, tuck your pelvis up and under, achieve 12 repetitions with good technique, tempo, holding up for 3 seconds at the top. And when you can achieve that, then you can start loading the hip up with a dumbbell maybe on the hip, and start with about 5 kilos and then work up from there. Sweet. Okay, so the horse start squats is extremely good for lateral movement of the body. It also addresses the groin tightness in the body, and there's a lot of groin tightness that's created from sitting down in chairs. So we get really proficient in this one, and it will significantly reduce your injuries through the groin and into the hamstrings. Okay, so what we're going to do here is sit down and back, keep the booty up, keep the chest up. You don't want to lean forward, and you don't want your back rounding out. So you only come down as deep as you can with your back in a nice neutral curve, yeah? With the legs, your feet are facing nice and straight. You're twisting your knees out. So that's your horse stance there. From here, we're going to drive the weight over to the side. Now this leg over here must stay locked in, yeah? So I'm going to sit back and lock this leg, squeeze that thigh. If you don't squeeze that thigh, the gracilis muscle, the inside of the knee, is going to get under a lot of tension and pressure, and it can get quite tweaky. So make sure you squeeze that quad super tight, lock the leg up, twist the knee out, keep your posture up, pause, 1, 2, 3, glide your body over to the other side, lock that leg, squeeze the thigh, turn it up, 1, 2, 3. So that's 1 repetition. What you want to aim to do is 8 to 12 repetitions, and when you're feeling comfortable, what you can do is start loading it up by holding a weight. So I like to hold the weight just here, and I'm going down. So what that weight will do is it'll encourage you to just get a little extra depth, and it's also teaching the muscles to take this movement and a little bit of load. Again, we don't want to get too hero status. I wouldn't go over anything than 10 kilograms at this phase. When you're feeling comfortable, yes, you can start loading it up, but first thing you want to do is get more range of motion before you start loading up with too heavy a weight. Cool. Alright, so the ice skater's lunge is done like this. So the foot is nice and straight, okay, and so we're getting the balance in there. From here, I'm bringing this outside leg in, and I'm hinging over at the hip like I'm doing a deadlift. I'm taking that leg as far and as back as I can, and then I'm coming back up again. So let me give you a side view so you get a better understanding what's going on here. So again, balancing on the single leg, hinging over at the hip, pushing the back leg over as far across as I can, diagonally out to the back. You notice how I'm keeping my lower back erect. At no point must I let my lower back flex over like that. You must keep your back nice and upright here. So one thing you can do here is you can use a little stick or a pole just to give you a little bit of balance in the first stages of this exercise just to help you get more range of motion. You'll feel your glutes really getting switched on over here. You come back up, stabilize. So I'll give you a front view. So I've got the pole here helping me with a stick, and I'm hinging through around. I'm making sure my knee's not falling in, keeping that knee twisting out. I'm using the stick to help me. I'm getting down as deep as I can, and I'm coming back here. So I'm not holding that stick with a lot of force. I'm just real light on the stick, and that way you can wean yourself off the stick. So you want to be able to achieve this exercise 12 repetitions, each leg solid before you start introducing things like dumbbells to load the exercise up. But that's a really good way to progress this one. All right, cool. All right, so the sissy squat is a really good quad exercise, but it's also a really good ab and pelvic exercise to teach you not to hyperextend the lower back, but to use the lumbar flexors to stabilize your pelvis. Notice I got my toes tucked up and under, so what that's going to do is give me a lot more stretch through the plantar flexor of the foot, which is imperative to good foot tracking and healthy knees, right? So we're going to tuck the pelvis up and under, scoop. Very important, keep that butt super tight, keep those abs super tight. From there, we're going to move back as deep as we can go. Pause, 1, 2, 3, and then pull back up again. So again, scoop pelvis up and under, lock it in, don't arch your lower back, keep nice and strong. Pause, 1, 2, 3, come back. Again, we're going to aim to do 8 to 12 repetitions, and the way you progress this is to go further and further back. Awesome. Okay, so the dragon curl is the opposite movement for, as the sissy squat is for the quads. It has the same sort of stimulation on the hamstrings, right? So what I've done here is I've used two big heavy dumbbells to anchor my feet. So you want to anchor your feet under some heavy dumbbells, some heavy barbells will do the trick. But look how I'm going to point my toe, and I'm going to tuck my toes underneath the handle of those dumbbells. I want to make sure I've got a nice little cushion on underneath my knees. And the movement is as follows. You're going to hinge your bum back like you're doing a deadlift, yeah? So here I've got my toes pushing into the dumbbells to keep me leveraged so I don't fall forward. I hinge over, I keep my bum sticking up and out. And when I can get my nose to touch the ground, I know it's time to come back up again, okay? So I want to squeeze my abs nice and tight, stick my bum out like a duck bum when I'm going over. I'm hinging, and then coming back up again. Now the way to progress this is when you get down to the bottom here, you can start moving in increment forward, and that will load up the hamstrings more, and then you come up from there. But first make sure you get down before you move forward. Same thing, 8 to 12 repetitions. Tempo is 1, 2, 3 down, pause, 1, 2, 3, come back up. So I'll give you a demonstration. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and boom, one up. Awesome. So your ankle mobility and strength is the foundation to how you run and walk, etc. So if there's a disparity in this part of your body, it's like having a vehicle that has shitty wheel alignment and shitty wheels in it. It's just not going to perform no matter what engine you put in there. If the foundation of what is tracking on the ground is not good, then it's going to be a problem. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate to you the calf raises I want you to do. There are 3 positions you're going to work on. So position number 1 is neutral. Okay? So I've got my foot down there, and I'm going to drive up, pause, 1, 2, 3. At the bottom, we're going to get as much range of motion as we can by stretching. 1, 2, 3. The other position we're going to do is we're going to turn the ankle out here. So with the ankle out, 1, 2, 3, drive up, 1, 2, 3. The other position we're going to work on is turning the toes in. We're going to go down, 1, 2, 3, drive up, 1, 2, 3. So what we're doing is we're getting all 3 different attachments through the calf muscle on that one. So what you're going to do is 1 set with your foot neutral, 1 set with your toes in, and then 1 set with your toes out. And you're aiming to do 8 to 12 repetitions with a 3-second pause at the top and a 3-second pause at the bottom. Awesome.